Last night, I paid $10 to see this really lame action movie. It was about a dentist/adventurer who wore a felt hat and a leather jacket, and for some reason a pair of boxers over his jeans. So they called him Undy Jones. Undy and his young sidekick Mutthead were in Egypt to find the mummy, flatulent pharaoh, King Tut. They were being chased by an army of ninjas who followed them across the desert on camels wearing roller skates. Eventually, Undy and Mutthead located King Tut's pyramid using a map they found in the book Mummies for Dummies. They entered the passageway filled with blood-sucking snails. Why does it always have to be snails? And acrobatic bats. A stone door opened, revealing Tut's treasure, including the pharaoh mummy's Shark of the Covenant, Cleopatra's crystal cell phone, you know, the kind with hieroglyphic text messaging. Suddenly, a ninja wielding a pair of nunchucks entered the tomb. Just then, King Tut's mummy let rip a 3,000-year-old fart so powerful that even the Sphinx could smell the stink. The fart made the pyramid collapse, but our heroes escaped just in the nick of time. That's my story, and it's all true. My childhood was pretty normal. Like most kids, my parents took me to a safari in Africa when I was just 5 months old. Early on in the trip, a ferocious lion snatched me out of our vehicle. Before he could snack on me, a gorilla named Kerchoo swooped down and rescued me. He raised me as his son for the next 14 years, plus taught me how to swing on vines while giving the old jungle yell, something like that, and showed me how to tie a boa constrictor into a knot. I was known as Teen Zen, Prince of the Jungle. One day I was wrestling a hyena who had laughed at me when my parents finally found me. They took me to their home in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and enrolled me in high school. And that, my friends, is where the trouble began. At the big basketball game, I gave a cheer so loud that it knocked half a dozen kids out of the bleachers. Then to show Jane, the head cheerleader that I liked her, I searched for bugs in her hair. Finally, I battled a threatening-looking panda wearing tennis shoes. And just as the coach was about to kick me out, a tiger that escaped from the zoo entered the gym. My instincts kicked in. I swung on some climbing ropes, jumped down on the tiger, giving him a big slam dunk, thus saving Jane and winning the game by 2 points. That's my story, and it's all 100% true. Poor Harry Porker knew that he was unlike his other relatives, so he squealed in delight when a giant crimson pig named Hogred appeared at his door and announced that he'd been accepted to Pig Wizardry School. Harry stepped into Hogred's boat, and they flew off to Warthog's School of Pigcraft. Harry was accepted into Sniffendor, the school's best pig pen. He and his penmate, Ron Squealsley, spent the nights making potions out of mud. During the day, he and her swiney practiced spells that turned garbage into food, which isn't too hard if you're a pig. One day, Harry competed in a pig witch match and successfully captured the golden snout. But the school's bully, Bacon Malfry, accused Harry of cheating and challenged him to a spell-off at the Forbidden Farm. Sensing a trap, Harry rolled in the mud of invisibility beforehand. But Bacon smelled Harry as he approached and washed the magic mud away with a bucket of slop. Beside Bacon stood the evil Lord Voldemort. He and Harry drew their wands at the same time, but Voldemort's spell was more powerful. Luckily, the headmaster, Professor Bumblebore, had followed Harry, and they combined their powers to turn Voldemort into a smoked ham. That's my story, and it's all true. Did I mention I was a high school superhero? It all began with a field trip to the GND, Gross National Defense. Their latest projects, a pimple projectile, a squid ink self-defense spray, and a stink bomb made from cow farts. Dr. Grossman was showing us a slime-like substance recently extracted from the Earth's core when the class bully, Larry Osbad, shoved me and I ended up covered in slime. In the process, Larry slipped and crashed. He looked like the Squid Kid. That afternoon, when my dog Slobber tried to jump on me, a stream of green gook squirted from my palm. We were both shocked. The next morning, I spotted a guy stealing a kid's bike. I shouted, "Hold it, dude!" and splat! He landed on his butt, and I returned the bike. I was destined to fight crime with slime. The following day, Big Dwayne was stealing Sherman's lunch money when, splash, he was slimed by the crime-fighting superhero, Slime Man. Hearing laughter, I turned to see Larry. The lab mishap had turned him into the Squid Kid. He opened his mouth and spewed black ink all over me. Then he grabbed my girlfriend, Jane Mary, and climbed atop the gym. He shouted, "Enjoy the stink bomb, Slimy!" as he threw it down at me. In a flash, I shot out a stream of slime that stopped the stink bomb in midair and sent it flying back into his big mouth. The Squid Kid went into a stink-propelled orbit, and Jane Mary fell into my open arms. My friends spent the afternoon partying in a fountain of slime, courtesy Slime Man. That's my story, and it's all true. All right. I'll never forget the summer I saved the world. I was getting ready for a date with my neighbor, Nikayla, when Gramps' old nose hair trimmer went haywire. A moment later, my toilet transformed into an evil robot and almost gave me a swirly. I ran out the door into the arms of my bike, which had turned into BikeBot. As we sped along, he explained he was one of the Grobots, robots who had grown from kids' toys into robot superstars. Without warning, I was knocked off BikeBot by the evil Mobot, who was threatening my friend Nikayla. The Mobot and his friend Mailbot had us trapped when a school bus arrived. As we hopped in, it transformed into the Grobot leader, Omnibus Prime. He told us the evil Disrupticon robots had stolen the robot recharger, and the only one who knew its whereabouts was my departed grandpa, Pappy Sutphin. Of course, the answer was right under my nose. As we neared Lady Liberty, my keen eyes spotted the recharger. Just then, the Brooklyn Bridge changed into the Disrupticon leader, Negatron. Nikayla and I jumped onto Miss Liberty, and Omnibus was smacked down. Negatron grabbed me with his claw, but I shoved Pappy's nose hair trimmer right up his nose. Negatron short-circuited, and I fell into Nikayla's arms. I can't wait till next summer when I can save the world again. That's my story, and it's all true. Long, long ago in a galaxy far away, there was a planet inhabited by peace-loving dogs. Under the rule of the beautiful Princess Lhasa, everyone drank refreshments out of the toilet. Then one day, the evil Bark Louder stormed Lhasa's castle with his army of evil Dobermans. Bark kidnapped the princess and took her to his space fortress, the Dog Star. Luckily, young pup Lick Dogwalker declared that he would rescue the princess. With his trusty robo-dog, R2-Fleetu, by his side, the newly trained Lick took off in his space fighter, cleverly disguised as a frisbee. Bark Louder couldn't resist the frisbee and pulled it into the cargo bay. In a flash, Lick jumped out of the craft, brandishing his leash saber, and the battle was on. Lick quickly rolled over and lassoed Bark. Lick rescued Princess Lhasa and went on to greater adventures, while Bark Louder was sentenced to 8 years of hard labor picking up dog poop. That's my story, guys, and it's all 100% true. Slimedog Millionaire. Kids' pets compete for money and sliming rights. I love movies. And judging by the previews, there are some really good ones coming out. Like The Dark Knight. He's got superpowers and pimples. Kung Pao Chicken. Nothing says ninjas like chickens. Lord of the Rings. Ice skating trolls like you've never seen them before. Meet the Pets. She loves her fiancé, but the family pets smell trouble. The Dummy Returns. When this ancient Egyptian ventriloquist dummy returns, everyone dies of laughter. The Chronicles of Barnea. The Legend of the Lion, the Witch, and the Purple Dinosaur. The Curious Case of Benjamin Franklin. How does he go from old to even older? Lemony Wicked. Kids suffer a series of unfortunate events, and then they're adopted by the Wicked Witch. The Second Terminator, a robot from the future who is elected governor twice. Greece, Athenian sweethearts, Sandy and Socrates, sing about philosophy and acne. Forrest Gump, life is like a roll of toilet paper. You never know when you're gonna need it. That's my story, guys, and it's all 100% true.